Welcome to Real Estate Radio Live, an informative and engaging podcast discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your host, Joe Caccera, provides you with insight and guidance on how to buy, sell, finance, and invest in real estate. He also offers real estate tax management strategies, new construction advice, home improvement tips, and much, much more. And now, to guide you around the world of real estate, here's your host and Real Estate Radio Live team leader, Joe Caccera.
Welcome in. This is Joe Caccera with Real Estate Radio Live, the podcast series. As we move along through the week, happy to announce, again, you'll hear more and more information come out. We are going back to our live radio show as we were for 7 years on KDOW 1220 AM. Be sure to tune in and look for more information coming out in the next couple of weeks. That's at 1220 AM KDOW. We'll be going through the same time slot from 3 to 4, Monday through Friday, Pacific Daylight Time. Be sure to tune in. And the exciting news is that content from the live show will really become the podcast, which is will be driving more and more content information to you, the consumer. Before we get started, invite my guest in. Just a reminder, if you're in the need of financing, maybe you need a good real estate agent, financial planner, CPA, we have a great network group of people here, professionals that help in anything and everything real estate. Happy to help you in any way we can. If you want to reach me, there's a couple different ways you could do that. Area code 408-838-9060, or you could always email joe@reradiolive.com. And for more information, you could always visit the website at reradiolive.com. Most of you know that we've been talking about the next several months. Part of our show is really going to focus on the future, if so to speak, of real estate, the industry, where it's going, a lot of startup activities. Today I'm going to introduce the CEO of HomeLight in just a moment. Just an example, we're going to be, this is one of many during a series over the next couple of months. We're going to be visiting some of the executives of these companies. We're also going to be highlighting, interviewing some of the folks that the venture capitals that invest in these very same companies, for instance, to get their ideas, their thoughts, their vision, and what direction is this industry going. We'll continue to do that. And also for not only the consumer, but for the agents that represent the thousands of agents just in this area and all over the United States, how does this affect the industry? So we're going to dive deeper into that. So let me invite my guest in, Mr. Sumant and Sridharan. I'm probably not going to get that right during this. Forgive me, Sumant, but welcome into the show today.
Hey, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's exciting. You and I had a few minutes to talk before we got started here today, and I'm very familiar with HomeLight. I've full disclosure, over the last several years, I've done a lot of research on a lot of the different startups, some of their models, but it's exciting to talk to you today. Maybe if you get started, Sumant, if you don't mind, giving our listeners a little idea of your background, and then bring us up to speed with your current roles and responsibilities at HomeLight.
Sure thing. So yeah, happy to do that. I've really, in terms of my career, I really have grown up in digital media, product, and advertising. I've been in the digital media space for about 20 years. Most recently, prior to HomeLight, I was running the e-commerce business at Cafe Press, which was and is really the leading marketplace for finding custom products. I helped take Cafe Press public in 2012, and a few years ago I started really poking around in the real estate space, and I think what struck me at the time was when I started digging in was just how massive an industry real estate is. We all know it's north of a $1 trillion industry in terms of residential real estate in the United States. But yet, I think the dissonance was if you looked at the technology and the solutions that were available to the consumer, the industry was just way behind many other large consumer industries like travel and auto in terms of technology innovation. So that really attracted me to real estate at the time, and so I joined HomeLight in 2014. I'm the chief operating officer of the company. I think, as you mentioned, we've been around for a while. We've been seeing, great scale and, kind of great feedback from our community as we've grown. Really for those of you that haven't, heard of us, we're a marketplace business. We connect homeowners looking to sell their home with the best realtors in their area.
Okay.
And what makes us unique is we actually use historical performance data to make the connection. So we use data-driven algorithms to tell consumers which agents will sell their homes the fastest and for the most money.
Great. So you collect a lot of the data and information over the years on these agents, and supposed to give a kind of a visual approach to the listener. They go on the website, and when they enter some information, maybe a specific zip code or area, Sumant, they would actually come up with a series of agents through the database that would research maybe the most experienced, that sold the most, the highly rated. How does that work?
Yeah, that's right. So a homeowner would come to our site. They would put in their property address, and various other objectives when they're looking to sell, the general price point they're looking to sell for, and so forth. And then the way it works is our matching algorithm will comb through a database of over 2 million agents across the country and match them based on a number of different variables to the agents that best fit their needs. So as you mentioned, we're looking for agents that are the best negotiators, local market experts, people that can sell fast, and really people just with great experience in their neighborhood. We're able to triangulate within blocks of someone's house. So there's the age-old question. You're living on a street and you see your neighbor sell their home for an ungodly amount, and people always ask who is the agent that sold the home? So we can help you triangulate to that data and really get someone who has a hyper local expertise of your street, your block, your neighborhood.
How is the industry kind of welcomed or accepted? And we'll talk about in general. Let's talk about your company first, and then we'll talk about kind of in general. I forget what the number is, Sumant, but I believe it's north of $2.5 or $3 billion a year that's being invested in kind of disrupting and changing the real estate industry. How have the agents adapted, accepted? What was some of the? I mean, have they, for the most part, they understand this? They know the industry's changing, so they're acceptable and the right ones sign on, or how has that been so far?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think to be honest, when we launched, there was a lot of uncertainty. Mm-hmm. We were a new technology. We really were the first company that was, publishing this type of agent performance data online. And so I think, there were some in the industry, that were somewhat skeptical of the solution. But what we found is, our goal has always been to partner with the industry and partner with our consumers and really create, a win-win for everyone involved. Right. So over time, I think as, agents have understood that we're really looking out for their interests. We want to get them highly qualified customer referrals. Mm-hmm. We're not merely, passing leads to them and charging them, for those leads. We actually only get paid when the transaction closes on their end. They've been really receptive, and we on our part, really vet every single customer that comes to our site. Mm-hmm. and make sure this is a qualified referral that can turn into a listing and consequently a closed transaction for an agent. Very good.
So the consumer comes to the website, they fill out some information, they're looking to sell their home, they fill out the basics, and they'll get now. So first of all, I'm guessing, I don't want to assume, so there's no cost to the consumer for signing up to your site or going on and looking for an agent to represent them?
That's correct. The service is completely free to the consumer.
Okay. So they get this, they fill out the information. Then what happens, Sumant? Do they actually get, let's say, a handful of agents that are matched that contact them? Or what's the process after Let's say there's 5 agents that kind of meet that criteria. Then what happens?
Yeah, so typically, so what they'll see is when they log in, they'll get a few matches. The 2 or 3 matches we believe really suit their needs the best. If they want, they do have the ability to search through a larger database of agents. They're looking for something more specific, but typically they will start with 2 or 3 matches. Once that's happened, typically one of our concierges will reach out to the consumer and try to get a better understanding of the qualitative requirements behind their home sale. Why are they selling? What's the motivation? What are the things that are important to them in their home sale? And we'll review their matches with them.
Right.
And if everything looks good, we'll then go about making the connection with the agent.
Okay.
But the concierge may also decide at their discretion with the consumer to go find more matches that are may suit some of the more qualitative requirements.
Great. We got about 2 minutes left before we're going to take a quick break. What I want to ask you then, and we can on the other side, we'll talk more about the industry, some of the changes, and some of the future outlook. So then, no cost to the consumer. They choose an agent. The transaction closes. So that's how you guys get paid. Then I'm assuming the broker of record or the real estate company then that represents pays you guys a fee of some sort.
That's right. So we collect a referral fee from the agent on it's an industry standard referral fee. We'll collect that from the agent at the time the home closes, and it really creates a great mechanic where we're really incentivized to ensure the transaction works out for everyone. Right.
Very good. That's good. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Mr. Sumant Sridharan, and he is the COO of HomeLight. We're talking about the industry, the real estate industry, how it's being affected, the investments that are coming in, the new online companies, how it is affecting the real estate industry, and there'll be much, much more. This is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. We'll be back with you to continue in just a minute.
For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com.
Hi, this is Joe Kuchera, host of Real Estate Radio Live and Bay Area Mortgage Planner. In addition to being your home financing expert, please remember you could always contact me for other trusted advisors such as realtors, financial planners, and CPAs. Please feel free to contact me at 408-838-9060. That's 408-838-9060, or email joe at RERadiolive.com, or visit my website at RERadiolive.com for more details.
Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's topic or guests, just visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Again, your host for today's edition of Real Estate Radio Live, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome back in. This is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live, the podcast series. As we move along through the week, we have a series that's going to be continuing over the next couple of months. And it's really the history of the real estate industry, the changes, the future, what does it hold? We have Sumant with us. He is the COO of HomeLight, kind enough to share some time with us today, his valuable time. Running a startup company online, real estate related, has been extremely successful. Sumant, were you guys one of the, would you consider yourself one of the kind of the pioneers, if you will, in the trying to adapt and move to the transition online in the real estate world?
I would say, I would really, credit that still to, the Zillows and the Trulias of the world. They really started in 2008, 2009. I think, the difference I would say is those companies did just a fantastic job of appealing to the home buyer originally, right? And so, they indexed millions of properties. Obviously, we've all heard stories of Zestimate and how kind of important it was to Zillow's success. But they really created a solution that, appealed to someone that was purchasing a home. When we moved, my family and I, to the Bay Area, the first thing my wife did was, search on those sites and look at homes that she that she was interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the one thing though that was interesting is even though Zillow and Trulia and Realtor and Redfin really were able to get people searching for homes online and especially buyers, there hasn't been a great transition of individuals finding real estate agents online.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the stats we'll all look at are, something like 92% of homeowners still find their agents offline, which is pretty shocking when you think about it. And so really the genesis, for HomeLight was, hey, there's a better way. This is the most emotionally charged decision in many people's lives. It's also the biggest financial asset. And here we have homeowners going into the process with really no data, at their fingertips.
Yeah,
so
I would agree.
You can go buy, products on Amazon and get tons of reviews and specs on those products.
Mm-hmm.
But for a real estate agent, there was really no way to vet and see whether, someone was good at their job or not.
Yeah.
And that was really, kind of the origination and the innovation for HomeLight.
Yeah, I would agree. And I had mentioned to you, and I think those that follow the show know that part of my job, I'm researching constantly every day in our industry, financing, real estate, where it's going, what's happening. And so the data shows, and this is objective data too, that 95% of people start their search online. And then the data also shows us and tells us that it's really clear that when a consumer gets ready to actually get then serious about buying a home, almost 9 out of 10, it's about 88%, actually end up choosing and wanting to use a qualified realtor. So what you're doing and what you're saying, I think, is correct if you're following kind of the data and the statistics and the background of what consumers want. And I think that for any business, you want to understand not only what the consumers want today, but what they potentially might want in the future. Speaking of the future, what are your thoughts? There's different models out there, Sumant. I mean, I certainly have my strong beliefs and philosophies. I'd be interested to hear yours. You have different models. You have models like yourself. We interviewed a gentleman at Op City a couple of days ago. There's a similar model that you guys, but then there's a whole series of what seems to be, anyway, what appears to be, maybe it's not, more popular or getting more publicity in the sense of the offer pads, the open doors, the iBuyers, the whole concept where these companies come in with huge war chests. They'll actually buy the house. Their model, I believe, is don't worry about the open house, don't worry about the stress. We're just going to come in and make an offer and buy it from you. But I think there's a lot behind the scenes that consumers don't know about. Maybe if you could take a couple minutes, tell us about some of the models like that you're seeing and maybe how they compare and why you guys are really sticking to the model and the direction you're headed.
Yeah, it's kind of an internal joke here at the company. We're a relatively boring company by Silicon Valley standards because we're not trying to necessarily eliminate anything off of the face of the earth, right? And we do believe real estate agents provide a lot of value to the consumer. The trends would seem to suggest that. I think something like 70% of consumers use agents back in the early 2000s, and that number's all the way up to close to 90%. Mm-hmm. And simultaneously, we've seen the for sale by owner market really compress over that same time period. Selling your house is an infrequent event with a lot on the line, and at the end of the day, our belief is going into that type of event, you're going to want someone who's an expert in what they do, right? And the real estate agent is that person. Now, in terms of the iBuyers that are out there, listen, we're certainly, while we do believe in the agent, we're certainly not. I wouldn't characterize HomeLight as an ideological company. Mm-hmm. So we do believe there's a time and place for the iBuyers. We think there's a certain also psychographic profile of seller. Mm-hmm. Would go for one of these companies, and that tends to be someone who's optimizing for speed over financial kind of profit maximization, right? And I think that's just by definition, right? If you're going to, not run a free market process on a home sale, then, it's hard to believe you would maximize the price.
Yeah,
right?
I would agree. And I think that there's, I do see different geographic areas and that model working maybe in lower cost areas, in my opinion. I mean, I could see that model maybe being a little more popular in a place where the average sales price is $200,000, let's say, or in a market where you don't have the demand or the supply issue like we have in a lot of different areas of and then certainly high cost areas of the United States.
Yeah. So if you ask me, do I think the iBuyers can succeed? Certainly, I think within the niche that they're in, I think there can be definitely multiple public companies just because of the pure size of the industry.
Right.
For ourselves, what we're interested in is providing sellers with the best financial outcome in their home sale. We think that's the vast majority of individuals who are homeowners. That's what they want. And really, we're focused on providing a service that gives them the data and transparency to enable that outcome.
Yeah, well said. The other statistic that I think that surprises a lot of people, I talk a lot on the show about, because I'm a big believer in finding the right quality team and person to the transaction as well. But I think it surprises most people when you tell them that nearly 10% of the agents do roughly 90% of the business. And I think that's where. So talk a little bit about knowing, I mean, those statistics. I do. We live them every day. We understand them. But I think it surprises a lot of people. But knowing that and understanding that, do you think one of the things that will happen with these different models, whether it be HomeLight or some of these others, Sumant, that the more qualified agents, if you will, or the people that are hungrier or willing to, adjust and adapt will end up still making it a pretty good livelihood, or is that going to consolidate? What are your thoughts there as far as the agent number count?
You'd have to believe that over time, as we provide and the industry provides more transparency into performance, that consolidation would happen. Listen, Joe, we've had an industry that historically has made money purely based off the proliferation of a lot of agents, right? When you run a subscription business, then the more subscribers you have, the more revenue you receive, right? So there's no incentive for many companies in this space to reduce the number of agents.
Good point.
Because a company like HomeLight only gets paid on the transaction, however, we have no incentive to provide a lot of business to an agent who's not going to do a good job.
Yep.
Right. So we're solely focused on those agents. And over time, we would like to continue to give agents business to agents who prove worthy of their clients.
Very good. Let's take about the next 2 minutes or so. We have Sumant, about 2 minutes roughly. I want to take that time to really kind of close out and hone in on HomeLight and some of the success you guys are having. You guys have done a great job. You're on your way. I just read also you raised recently in your recent round $40 million. Is that correct? Most recent funding?
That's right.
Well, congratulations. I mean, in a market like this, a very tough competitive market, you guys are doing something right. So what's next for HomeLight? What do you see if as we sit here today, Sumant, as we finish up 2017 and go into the next couple of years, what is on the horizon? What do you see next? The next steps for you guys?
Sure. So we started out as mentioned, connecting homeowners with the best realtors in the area. We've seen great results from that, right? So we're both in the Bay Area. When we look at the deals that we've given to homeowners or agents in the Bay Area and homeowners selling in the Bay Area, for example, we've seen those people sell their homes 22 days faster than the average homeowner, and that's true really in any city that we work in. So we know that this works, and at this point, we're really focused on continuing to build out the solution to really, as I mentioned, help homeowners get the best outcome for their home sale.
Right.
And so as we continue to build a platform that includes making our agent matching better, offering more products for home sellers, giving them more content to help educate themselves on the market, as well as bring more tools for the agents to assist them in closing the transaction.
Very good. What would you say lastly, Sumant? I'll ask you to really address the consumer first, and then we have a big following of the agents in the industry that follow the show as well. So for the consumer, I'm assuming they go to your website to find out more, and then if you could talk about that for a second, and then also an agent out there that might be listening of why they may want to find out more about HomeLight.
Sure thing. So yeah, for the consumers that are out there, folks looking to sell their home in the next year or two, you can visit our site at HomeLight.com and sign up, and we'd be happy to help refer or match you with the best agents in your area. For new agents that haven't signed up, you can also go to HomeLight.com and click on the professionals link and follow through and create a profile. And again, as we get more and more homeowners that come to our site looking to sell their home, we can't obviously promise any agent's customers. That's not the way we work. But we will promise you, if you're out there doing great work for consumers and the data kind of proves you out to be really good at what you do, then certainly HomeLight can be a great platform for you.
Very good. So HomeLight.com. Sumant, I want to thank you for your time, and maybe we'll have you back in the next couple of months and give us an update, see how things are going. But wish you all the best and much success going forward.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, thanks for your time. This is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Be sure to continue to follow us. Again, Monday through Friday, we're with you. The live show will continue back next week from 3 to 4 Pacific Daylight Time. For more information, you can always go to reradiolive.com. Until next time, take care.
You've been listening to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's program, visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. Subscribe to our podcast. Discover more at reradiolive.com.